Sean McCabe. Welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome to the Johnny McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of work, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now on today's show, Hot Seat Coaching Thursday, I'm going to share with you the number one thing every business, entrepreneur, author, expert, and speaker needs to focus on right now if they're looking to build their business, grow their brand, and increase their exposure. Now let's face it, doing business in today's world is much different than it was 10 to 15 years ago. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, such as people still do business with people. Customer service and relationships are still the key to happy and repeat customers in business. But the method in which you get the people in the door or pick up the phone to call you has definitely changed. Now, the old methods of advertising, such as newspapers, TVs, and radio spots, are dying and decreasing as more and more people are getting their news online, listening to podcasts in their car instead of the radio, fast forwarding through commercials, or watching shows like Netflix, Hulu, Crackle, iTunes, and Amazon Prime. Now, newspaper subscriptions are down. The number of people actually relying on the paper for their news has substantially decreased as today's generation moves online for everything. Now, this type of media is still being used by many of the big companies, entrenched in the past and failing to accept the new world order of the online world. Now, not only that, but these businesses are seeking immediate gratification by running sale after sale after sale, or they're constantly pitching to their audience, never bringing value to those who may actually be paying attention. Just like you, I understand the need to make money right now. But you also need to focus on the long game and have a much bigger strategy in play if you're looking to build and grow your brand, your business, and your income. Because chances are you're just a lot like me. You got into business or became an entrepreneur for one of two main reasons. The first is freedom. Now, freedom means different things to different people. But to boil it down, basically you want to have the time and the money to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, and with whomever you want to do it with. Now, the second reason is you want to serve others with your unique talents and gifts and make a difference or an impact in other people's lives. So in order to accomplish those two things for yourself, you need to focus on the number one thing that's going to help you get there. Now, it's not a magic button or a silver bullet. It isn't going to get you rich overnight without actually working, putting in some effort, and having a plan. But failing to focus on this number one thing in today's world will put you further and further behind, while focusing on it will grow your business, your brand, and your income. Now, when I return, I'm going to share with you that number one thing every entrepreneur, business owner, author, expert, and speaker needs to focus on right now. And I'm going to give you the 3 steps that will help you achieve it. Now, the quicker you implement what I'm going to share with you, the faster you will accelerate your authority, grow your business, your brand, and your income. You'll be able to serve more people, make a bigger impact in people's lives, and reach your personal definition of freedom. So don't go away. I'll be right back with an amazing show today on accelerating your authority. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining in today. I have a great show lined up for you today. This is Hot Seat Coaching Thursday segment of the Johnny McCabe Show. This is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart and lessons I've personally learned over my past 12 plus years as a self-employed entrepreneur. Now, it's taken me that long to learn the valuable lessons I've needed, invested in the appropriate courses and education that ties into this. You know, I've hired the right coaches and been involved in numerous masterminds and followed some of the key influencers that has enabled me to share this message, strategy, and the 3-step plan to help you accelerate your authority so that you can reach freedom in your life, serve more people, make more money, and grow your business. So the number one thing that every business needs to focus on right now is getting attention. Now, every company needs to get attention in this noisy and busy space. Now, it's generally always been that way. However, the playing field is a little bit different now than it was 10 to 15 years ago. It's definitely a different landscape. And you should think of yourself as a media company first and foremost. Then it's whatever your business is. So I'm a media company / marketing consultant, or you're a media company / engineer, or a media company / mortgage broker. So just like a media company, you're in the attention getting game. So ask yourself, how do you get the attention of your ideal target market? So what you want to do is you want to go where the eyeballs, the ears are looking and listening. Now, in today's environment, this isn't TV commercials or spots on the radio, because fewer and fewer people are actually listening to the radio, or ads in the newspaper or magazines. Generally, eyes are focused on their smartphones. When you're walking down the street, you'll see the majority of the people that are walking are actually, their eyes are on their smartphones, not walking or paying attention to where they're going. A lot of people have their eyes on their tablets or their computers, or they're listening to their phones or their tablets or computers. They're listening to something, or they're watching something, or they're looking at something on one of those three devices. So you need to get yourself in front of these people with a message that resonates to your ideal target market. Now, I don't mean buying a bunch of pay-per-click ads. That's not what I'm referring to, because all you've done is just shifted your ad from one medium to another. You've taken it from the newspaper and put it online, and that's typically not what I'm referring to. Because let's face it, most people don't click on those ads anyway, especially if they don't already know you, like you, and trust you. Now, those people are also referred to in the marketing term as a cold market. They don't know who you are, they don't like you, they don't trust you, they don't know anything about you. Typically, they're referred to as a cold market. So your goal is to move that cold market into a warm market by getting them to know you, like you, and trust you. Then retarget them using banner ads to get them to buy something. So those type of banner ads or pay-per-click ads are more effective when people actually know who you are and you're targeting them specifically. Now, one way to move your audience from a cold to a warm audience is by creating a message that resonates with them and delivers massive value using having your media mindset. So having the mindset that you're a media company and you need to get the attention of your ideal target market. So you need to create a message that actually resonates with them. Now, before I get into the 3-step plan to get you more attention quickly, it's important to lay some foundation about the message that you're going to deliver in order to get that attention. So one thing you need to do is you need to get crystal clear on who your ideal target market is. Now, I keep going back to being clear on your ideal target market. I've said it many times in a lot of these episodes, but that is really laying the foundation for whatever business you're in. Is you need to truly understand your ideal target market or your avatar. You need to know what their pains, fears, frustrations, and ambitions are. You really need to understand what their desired outcome is when it comes to your product or service, and how your solution is going to help them achieve that desired outcome, and what are the benefits that your solution will give them as a result of using it. So this is a lot of key information that a lot of businesses, I'd say a majority of the businesses, actually haven't done their work to figure this stuff out, which is why they're struggling to get attention. Even when they're doing some of the strategies you're going to talk to in the 3-step plan, they're struggling to get that attention because the message they're creating is not resonating with their ideal target market. So you also want to get clear on what are the frequently asked questions of your ideal market, as well as what questions should these people be asking me before they make a buying decision about the product or service that you offer. Whether it's your product or service or somebody else is offering the same thing, what are the questions that they should be asking? So all this stuff is just laying the foundation. It's really understanding your ideal target market, and it's actually going to help a little bit later on down the road when we talk about creating some content. Understanding all of this and going through this exercise is really key to laying the foundation. Like I said, we're talking about the number one thing is you need to get attention, but before you start going out and getting the attention, you need to understand who you're getting the attention from and what verbiage is going to resonate with them. So also you want to know what the typical buying objections are of your ideal target market or your consumers or your customers, and how you can overcome these objections before they even get asked. So you want to get crystal clear. Now, a lot of times marketers will use these as myths, and they'll talk about the myths of their product or service. So one of the myths of X is this, and what they end up doing is they actually overcoming the objections before the person has a chance to even object. So price a lot of times could be an objection. So you need to come up with a myth about your product or service that answers the objection of the price. So getting crystal clear on what people's objections are of when you ask them to buy your product or service. So understanding all of that just enables you to create a message that's really going to resonate with your ideal target market and really sort of hit home that because you're answering these objections, counteracting them before they even get a chance to say them. So I can't stress this enough. Really understanding your ideal target market is key. The pains, fears, frustrations, or ambitions. What is their desired outcome? Because that information is crucial, and the benefits that they're going to receive as they're achieving their desired outcome when they're using your solution. That information is key when it comes to your messaging, which you're going to get into a little bit later on. So as you'll come to see, all of this foundation really is important when you're getting into the three key steps to getting that attention. So when you're going to start implementing that 3-step plan for getting the attention, you're going to keep referring back to a lot of this stuff that this exercise that you're going to go through when it comes to finding your ideal target market. And remember, regardless of what business you're in, you're really in the media. You're a media company first and foremost, and then you do whatever it is you actually do for a business. Because attention is the number one thing that you need to focus on right now to build your brand, grow your business, and accelerate your authority. Now, in order for you to get that attention for your business, I put together this 3-step plan to help you get attention in your marketplace that will really accelerate your authority. Now, the first step to the 3-step plan is actually doing live video very much like this. So Facebook Live works extremely well because Facebook is giving a lot of attention to people who are actually doing live video, and you're able to attract a much larger audience. So definitely step one is doing live video. Facebook Live gets you a lot of attention, but you can also do live webcasts or live webinars to really educate your audience. Now, some of the content that you can use in either the Facebook Live or the content that you can use for your webcasts or your webinars that you're going to use to educate your audience, we're going to go back to what I was talking about earlier when it comes to understanding your ideal target market. So you're going to look at some of the content is really that foundation that I was talking about before when it comes to getting attention. So some examples would be the 10 frequently asked questions for your product or your service. So doing a live show around the frequently asked questions is definitely something that will help you create some content that you can use in the future, as well as really going to educate your ideal target market. And it's going to speak directly to them because you've already laid that foundation. You know who they are, you know what their pains, fears, and frustrations are, and you also know typically what the frequently asked questions are. And also the 10 should ask questions. So these are questions, put yourself in the consumer's position. Now, if you're going to go out to your competitor, what questions would you ask your competitor that's going to differentiate you from them? So you're going to ask a competitor this specific question to find out, one, if they do it properly, if whatever you consider to be properly. So these are questions that typically aren't asked, but they end up differentiating different levels of service or different qualities of products between your company and your competitors. So doing a Facebook Live show or doing a live webcast or webinar where you're actually going through these questions and answering them can be very beneficial to your audience. Now, another thing that you can use for content is the benefits that your ideal target would receive when they're using your product or service. So, outlining the 5 major benefits that they're going to receive once they buy your product or use your service or whatever it is. So, and then how your business is different. So, coming up, that's maybe another Another idea for a live session is how your business is different from others. You can incorporate the should ask questions into that as well. And you're not focusing on the features of your product or your service, because really nobody cares about features. All people care about is what's in it for them. So you really want to talk about the benefits and how your product or service is different using a benefit-driven segment. And also, we talked a little bit about this earlier, overcoming objections. And you can do that by saying, by doing a session, the 3 myths about product X are this, which are really they're objections people have, and then you're countering those objections by calling them myths, and then you're explaining exactly how you actually overcome those objections. Another thing you can do is interview people. Interview people other than people in your market. Interview successful customers. Tell stories of transformation of people that have used your product or service. That's a great way to create content. One thing that I do on my show on a regular basis is I interview other people that are entrepreneurs or business people that have strategies that are very successful with their strategies. Maybe they're on a journey and they actually have encountered a lot of obstacles and what they've learned from their journey. So interviewing successful people, interviewing successful customers, getting people to tell their story of transformation can be very impactful, and it's a great way for you to create content for the live video that you're going to produce. So just to recap, step number 1 of the 3-step plan to get attention right now is doing live video, specifically on Facebook Live, because they're giving a lot of attention to it right now. But you can still do live webcasts and live webinars, and it's all designed to create content and to educate your audience and get them to actually know you, like you, and trust you a little bit more. Remember, we're talking about moving that cold audience to a warm audience, and then that warm audience into a hot audience by getting them to take action and actually purchase your product or your service. So right now, in order to, remember, you're in the attention getting business. You're a media company first, and then you're a doctor, or then you're a dentist. So you're in the media business and you need to get attention. And one of the best ways to get attention right now is step number 1 is doing live video. So step number 2 to the 3-step plan is to repurpose your live video for multiple uses. So there's a reason why step number 1 was creating live video. And the major reason is because you can repurpose that live video so many different ways that it's going to enable you to create a lot of different mediums, a lot of different content in different forms. And I'm just going to go through a few of those right now. So once you've completed with the live video, then you can actually send it out and get it transcribed, which means someone's going to actually listen to the video and type out all the words for you. So everything that's said on the video gets transcribed into a Word document. So that transcription can then be used to get put together, and maybe you're going to create a book out of it. And you have a strategy to get that book to a #1 bestseller. That is one of the quickest ways to actually to write a book, is to repurpose content that you've already created. So step number 1 is doing the live video. Step number 2 is transcribing it and using it for a book. Now, you can also take those transcriptions and use them for creating blogs, but not just your basic informative blog. What you want to do is you want to create blogs that are designed to get the reader to take some sort of action. So within the blog itself, you want to embed links where people can click on them for more information about that specific thing that they're reading about at that point in time. Maybe it takes them to a video, or maybe it takes them to an opt-in where you're going to capture their name and their email address and to receive some more information. Because people that are reading the blogs are more, they're a warmer audience already, because they feel that you're delivering them value. And by just embedding the links into the actual blog content itself, it doesn't come across that you're pushy or all you want is their name and email address. They feel that you're generally giving them value, and they're a lot more open to actually clicking on those links and downloading some more information, exchanging their name and their email address to get that more information. Now, what you can also do with the from the live video is after it's done, obviously there's a recording of it, so you can take the live video and you can edit it and turn it into a video podcast. So because it's live, there's some things that you might want to cut out, like my references to Andy Lockwood every time that he's on my show. I definitely want to cut those out of any video podcast I do. But you may mess up, you may stumble on some words, or there may be long gaps where you're not saying anything, or some of your technology could fail, which has happened to me over the last 32 episodes. I've had some technology challenges, so a lot of that stuff you can edit it out. So what you want to do is you're editing the video to put together a nice tight video podcast, and then you're going to add the intro at the beginning, and then you'll get the bumper added at the end, the call to action. So taking the live video, or what was the live video, the raw footage of the live video, and editing down for a video podcast. And then what you can do is once that video podcast is done, you can actually extract the audio from that and turn it into an audio podcast as well. So here from your live video, you've just actually created two different podcast channels, one video podcast channel, one audio podcast channel from the same piece of content. And it's all aimed at your ideal target market. Now, another thing you can do with the recording of the live video is you can cut it up into multiple smaller clips, and you can make multiple video clips that are really used to drive home a specific point in a smaller time frame, in a shorter video. And one thing you'll notice that I do throughout my 1 hour episode is either if I have a guest on, I'm constantly reintroducing my guest, because that's sort of a signal to the editor that between me reintroducing that guest and the time I reintroduce them again, I want that cut and to be one piece of content. So the reason why I will continue, or I'll go back to just say if you're just joining me and then go through that spiel again, is because that is I've just finished up with one point, and before I get into the next point, I want to have a clear cut place for the editors to actually edit the content. So from the live video, you can create multiple video clips that you can really use to drive home a specific point using short video. And then you can also create social posts from all of that repurposed content. So you can create some images used for the graphic sites such as Instagram or Pinterest, all designed to promote the content that you're creating. You can take little clips or a specific phrase that you say or a quote that you say, and use that in maybe your Facebook posts or your Twitter posts. And it's all designed with the mindset of your ideal target market and what is their desired outcome and the benefits that they're looking for, keeping that in mind, but creating that social posts that's really going to get them to click on it and get sent back to your website where they're actually going to consume the content that you're promising them. So once you have some of that repurposed content, then you really don't need to, and one thing you do is you don't need to wait for it all. So if you're doing a 1 hour video and you start to get the repurposed content, maybe you get pieces here and pieces there from your outsourcers, you don't need to wait till you get it all. So if you do 5 hours, over 5 weeks you do 5 hours, you don't got to wait till you get all the repurposed content for the entire 5 hours. Once you start getting the repurposed content in, then you start trickling it out, which I'm going to get into in the next step here. So once you have some of the repurposed content, don't wait for it all. Just go ahead and move on to step 3 of the 3-step plan to getting the attention. So step number 1 was doing live video. Step number 2 was taking the live video and repurposing it through getting it transcribed, cutting up the editing the video for podcasts, for audio podcasts, as well as video clips, getting blogs written, creating social posts. All of that is creating the content. Then you have to distribute and you have to engage with people based on that particular content. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to upload all the content to your website. So you want to upload the recording of once the live video is done, you want to upload that recording. Once the podcasts are actually completed, the video podcasts, you'll want to upload that to your website as well, and you want to have links to your audio podcasts on that site as well. And you also want to roll out the written blogs as they become available. So remember, you're going to get blogs created from the transcriptions of your videos, and as those come in, you want to roll those out and put them on your website as well. You also want to upload all the video of the live show plus any clips to your YouTube channel, and be very diligent about the search engine optimization words, the keyword phrases that you're using, and making some show notes on the actual YouTube channel with respect to that particular video. So make it keyword rich as well in all of the notes and the description of the video. So that'll help in the searchability. You also want to upload your podcast to iTunes and a service that focuses on Android podcasts as well. So that's very important. So uploading your content to the appropriate places. Now what you're going to do is you're going to use your social posts. Remember, you created all the social posts for your content, for your repurposed content. You're going to use those social posts for each and every piece of content that you created, keeping in mind your ideal target market, their desired outcomes, benefits, and you're going to use that to drive people back to your website to consume the content. So when you do a Twitter post, you're going to put in a short URL, driving people back to the page where that blog article is, or to the page where that specific video is that you talked about. And maybe you're doing that through Facebook, or maybe you created an Instagram post or an Instagram video, and you put a link in there that drives them back to the website where they can consume the content. Now, the reason why you want to drive them all back to your website is because you want to pixel them. You want to ensure that you put Facebook pixel code as well as Google pixel code on your website, so that you can go back and retarget them with paid ads through Google, through different websites, through Facebook when they're searching Facebook, and even in Instagram, because Facebook and Instagram are tied together now. So you can identify people who are now your warm audience. Remember, we're taking your audience from a cold audience to a warm audience. So now these people are consuming their content. They're on your website. So you're starting to retarget them with paid ads. And you do that through making sure that you have Facebook Pixel and Google Pixel on your website, the code in the header of your website, so that when people are searching through their Facebook feeds, you can identify them. Facebook will identify them for you and target them with specific ads that you've created, trying to get them to take some sort of action. So trying to move them from that warm audience into the hot audience by either bringing them back to purchase something, or maybe just bringing them back to consume more content. So this is where you effectively use those paid ads to people who you already know. They visited your site, they've consumed some of your content, and they've really expressed interest in what you do or what you offer. And a lot of this comes from, remember, when we talked about getting the attention to begin with, laying that foundation of understanding who your ideal target market is, their pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions, what their desired outcome is, the benefits that your product or service offers them. So getting crystal clear on all of that stuff. And so the message that you create is going to resonate with them. So when you're pixeling them and you're bringing them back to their site, there's going to be more content that's really going to resonate with them, because you've created all the content specifically for your desired, for your audience, for your ideal target market, and it talks about their desired outcome as well as the benefits of using your product or service. So that's step number 3, distribute and engage. I'll get into the engagement part. So we're talking about the distribution part, but then there's the engagement part. That's where once you post all the stuff on social and people start to retweet it or thank you or leave comments, then it's time for you to engage with those people follow up with them, start following them, start liking and commenting on their stuff. So it's really creating a relationship with the people who are engaging with you. So if people like your stuff, or if they comment on your stuff, or they share your stuff or retweet it, then you need to follow them back. You need to engage with them. You need to like their stuff and sort of try to create a relationship with them by taking an interest in what it is that they're doing. Okay, so that's the distribution engagement. That's step 3 to the 3-step plan to getting attention. Now, by implementing the 3-step plan that I just laid out for you, you're going to get seen, get heard, and get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime. Now, all the people walking around with their noses in their phones, scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or listening to podcasts or watching videos, now you have a much better chance. They have a much better chance of seeing you, watching you, listening to you, based on the information that you've created, and provided you have the right message for the right audience. Remember, people are, when they're walking down the street or walking in a shop, they're looking at their phone. Typically, they're not looking at the billboards around them. They're not looking at their surroundings. They're not paying attention to that. So if you want to get in front of the people who potentially are your ideal target market, you need to be on their devices. You need to be podcasts that they can listen to. You need to be videos that they can consume, blogs that they can read, books that they can consume as well on their phone or on their tablet. So you need to get in front of these people. So you do that by creating content. And in order for the message to resonate with them, you need to understand who your ideal target market is. And that's why it's so important that we build that foundation of your message before we even embark on the 3 steps to getting attention. It's because you need to have that foundation. You need to make sure that everything you're doing is going to resonate with your ideal target market. It's really going to attract them. But the bottom line is, now this is one of the fastest and easiest ways to accelerating your authority in the shortest amount of time. And by using the authority acceleration formula, you can easily accomplish this task of getting attention from your audience in that shortest amount of time by focusing on the right things and not wasting your time and energy. Now, as I've talked about in previous episodes, the authority formula actually goes like this. It's 1, 10, 100. Now, what that means is for every 1 hour of content you create per week. So remember, we talked about doing a live video 1 hour a week. So what you need to do for that 1 hour of content that you've created is you need to spend 10 hours distributing and engaging on that content per week. And then you need to do that for 100 days straight. So you need to do create 1 hour of content per week, spend 10 hours distributing and engaging. Next week, 1 hour of content, 10 hours distributing and engaging. And you do that consistently for 100 days. So to work it out, there's approximately 15 weeks in 100 days, not exactly, but approximately. So that means you'll create 1 hour of content per week over a 15-week time frame. That's going to give you 15 hours of content. Now, to put that in perspective, from that, you're going to perform 10 hours of distribution and engagement per week for that same 15 weeks, which means that you're going to spend over a 15-week time frame or a 100-day time frame, you're going to spend 150 hours distributing and engaging your content. Distributing your content and engaging with people who are engaging with your content. Now, that means posting on social, driving people back to your site, engaging with them on social, getting more followers, adding value to others, posting and interact with people in forums and groups, etc. That's what I mean by engaging. So, and by the end of the 100 days, you're going to have enough content that you'll be able to create a #1 best-selling book. You'll have enough content to launch a video and audio podcast. Now, depending upon how you divide your hour of video and your content up, you may have enough over from that 15 hours of content for podcasts for an entire year. Now, you also want to be visible everywhere your audience is hanging out. Now, which has accelerated your authority through the process. So by having so much content, so you've got the content out there, you're on all the social platforms, you've got a book, you've got podcasts, and a lot more. blogs, articles. So you're basically everywhere. So I want to encourage you and challenge you actually to start implementing the authority acceleration formula today and use that 3-step plan to getting the attention. Going after that number one thing that is really going to increase your business, your income, and allow you to serve more people and reach that financial freedom, or that reach freedom in your life, which is really freedom is really different for every single person. But typically, it's having the time and the money to do the things you want to do with whoever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it. So I want to challenge you to think of yourself as a media company first, and to really think about going out and getting the attention by implementing that 3-step plan. Start with doing some live video, and then take that one piece of live video, get it transcribed, edit it up, get it turned into some video clips, maybe a video podcast, extract the audio from it, turn it into an audio podcast, write some blogs about it, and get that all uploaded, create some social content around all of that stuff, and then start distributing that content and engaging with people, all designed to drive them back to your website where you can pixel them and then you can target them after the fact. So I'm going to challenge you to go ahead and start implementing that formula today. Like I said, it's all designed to get you attention, and just implement that 3-step plan. So doing some live video, and then repurposing that live video, and then step number 3 is distributing it and engaging with others. Okay, so that's the 3-step plan to getting the attention and accelerating your authority. Now, when it comes to implementing the authority acceleration blueprint and the formula, there's several objections that come up consistently. So what I'm going to do now is just sort of help walk you through some of the objections so you can really move forward and start implementing this in your business. Now, the first objection, or one of the biggest objections, is that you may not want to be live on camera, or on camera at all, or be live at all. But people aren't really looking for you to have a finished or polished show, typically, because they know you're not a news anchor. If you need to imagine, what I try to do is I try to imagine my ideal client, that I'm talking to my ideal client, and I'm just speaking to them, versus talking to a camera and there's people actually watching live. Because typically you're going to be in a room, you're going to be just you and a camera, and you need to basically speak to the camera as if you're talking to your ideal target market. So a lot of times people aren't expecting you to be polished. Chances are, if you're in business, you might have given talks before at local meetups or networking events or chambers. And if you haven't, then you really need to start. Because basically you can't grow your authority hiding in your house and never letting anyone know who you are. So you actually have to get out there, get used to speaking to people in public, which is really going to help you when it comes to creating the live show. So, if you're in business, you can't be hiding. Typically, you can't be hiding behind in your room or behind your computer. If you want to accelerate your authority, if you want people to actually, do business with you, you need to get out there and you need to communicate with these people. So you may be the type of person that's great one-on-one, but you just don't like standing up in front of crowds. I'm an introvert by nature, and being an introvert, I really don't like being in groups. But typically, I don't mind. I've stood up and I've talked enough in groups and in front of large audiences and do live on camera. It's actually easier if you're an introvert to do a live show, because all you're doing is just talking to a camera. You don't think about the people that are actually watching you live. So, don't let being an introvert get in your way. And the third thing I can say is plan your event, plan your live show. Write a script if you have to, which is what I do. I typically have scripts, I have bullet points, I have things that I know I want to talk about. And if you recall, when I first started the show, actually before I started the show, I did a 2-week trial where I had no script. I basically just turned the camera on, moving it around different places in the home, and I was just talking about anything and everything. No script, no plan, no structure. But that's a little bit harder. But when you actually are doing this purposefully, you want to create a plan. You want to map out what you're going to talk about, because what you're going to talk about, remember, it's going to get transcribed, it's going to get used for other content. So you really want to plan it out, because it's going to become part of your book. It's going to become blog articles. It's going to become video content, social posts about what it is you're talking about. So you want to be crystal clear. That's why I talked a lot about laying that foundation. Getting clear on your ideal target market, pains, fears, frustrations, the should ask questions, the frequently asked questions, what their desired outcome, the benefits to them, things like that. Getting all of that information crystal clear, so that when you're writing your content, it's much easier to map it all out, because you know specifically, exactly what you're going to talk about, and everything you're going to talk about is going to be for the benefit of your ideal target market. It's going to educate them. Okay, so that's the first objection, is you don't want to be on camera. The second objection may be you don't have the time to do all 3 steps needed. I'll be the first one to tell you that you can outsource everything except doing the live video and the engagement piece. You want to keep that to yourself unless you have somebody that actually thinks just like you think. But typically, performing the live video and doing the engagement piece is really all you need to do. Everything else can be outsourced. You need to hire outsourcers to do the transcription, hire outsourcers to do the editing, the cutting, the clipping, the writing, schedule all the social posts. You can really hire everything else out except being on the camera, because if you're going to promote yourself and try to accelerate your authority, then you need to be the person that's on the camera, not hiring an actor or actress or getting one of your workers to do it, because all you're doing is they would be building their authority, not your authority. So you need to be the one that's on the camera doing the live stuff and actually communicating. You should be the one communicating and engaging with people when the content is actually posted and distributed throughout the internet world. Okay. Now the third objection is I don't have the equipment or the software needed to do live shows. So to do a live show, all you actually need is your smartphone and Wi-Fi access to Facebook. That's all you need to do a live show. There's so many people that are doing Facebook Live right now, and all they're using is their smartphone, and they're just connecting through Facebook Live. That's bottom line. That's as easy as it gets. Or you can use a laptop or desktop with a webcam to create your live show. It does not get any easier than that. From there, it's all about having the outsourcers do the work. Then you just spend the time on engaging and interacting with others. So don't let equipment and software get in your way, because you actually have the equipment and software. I don't know very many people that don't have a smartphone today, that don't have Wi-Fi access. So you can start creating your own live show with as little as that. Obviously, to do a show to my caliber is a much higher production. There's a lot more software needed. There's a lot more involved. There's a lot of scripting. There's a lot of structure to it. But to get started, you don't need any equipment other than your phone. That's all you need. But what if I told you that other than being on camera and engaging on your posts, you could get the entire project and the entire process done in one place? So you don't have to go out and figure out where you're going to get all these outsourcers. You don't have to go out and try to figure out what you're going to plan for the show. You're going to eliminate the need to lay out your live show, laying out the plan, the scripting of the program. All you need is just having Skype, but still have that high-end multi-graphic live show, just like the one that I have, using video intros, transitions, professional graphics, that sort of stuff. So what if I were to tell you that you could go to one place and all you need is just Skype, and you're able to get all of this stuff done for you for your Facebook Live show? So that eliminates the need to actually need any software, to actually plan anything, to script anything. So all you need to do is just sit there and follow the script, which is all about your content, and the structure, which is all about your content. Or maybe you want to have someone to manage the entire project for you and work with a team of proven outsourcers to repurpose it all and create and deliver all your material to you, uploading it to your websites, podcast channels, scheduling all your social posts, and even putting together the content for your very own book, which will be launched using my proven #1 bestseller strategy. And you have all of it done for you within 100 days by investing just slightly more than 15 hours of your time to create the live video. Okay. Obviously, I can only work with a small number of clients each quarter, so if you're eligible, so contact me to see if you're eligible. If that's something that you're interested in, just being in front of the camera for 15 hours and not have to worry about anything else, the scripting, the planning, the actual software, producing the live show, coming up with the content, right down to getting it all transcribed, getting the videos done, the podcast done, getting the book created, all of that stuff. So if that's of interest to you, obviously, like I said, I can only work with a small number of clients each quarter. So contact me and we'll see if you're eligible, or you can contact me through the website, johnamccabe.com, or through the show's Facebook page. Okay, but that's all the time that I have for today's show, and it's great having you join me today, and I look forward to having you back again tomorrow for another great episode. But like I said, just stick with me, and I'll be right back with some closing remarks for today's show. Thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with and help entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device, now also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create our own life, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with each other. A great way to make that happen is to leverage the people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step 1 to reaching your financial life is to realize you can't do it alone. Now, working with coaches or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. A coach can help you shorten the time frame to get from where you're at now to where you want to be. While being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move their business forward. Now, the second step to create the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. The activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that actually make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Working with a coach or a consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help you save time, aggravation, and make you more money. For example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, and get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author, you have a successful podcast, and you have enough content to get you seen, heard, and noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device, automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint, the coaching program, or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through the show's Facebook page. Now, again, I want to thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode when we have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.